All right, Maths Paper 2, 2025. Most of y'all will be watching this in the future, so you can just skip ahead. The introduction might be 1 minute, and you can skip ahead and jump to the good stuff. I'm actually recording this right after the exam. The exam would have been administered right throughout the Caribbean by now. Everyone would have done it, and you're here. We all got it together to find out what's up with the solutions. So I skimmed it already, and it's one of the, I think we're back. I think we're back in terms of having just straightforward exams. If you know the maths, you pass the maths. If you don't know the maths, you don't pass the maths. There's nothing weird about the exam. It tests the syllabus, it does its job, and it goes with the exam. Isn't trying to be egotistic or anything like that. So usual paper 2, 2 hours and 40 minutes, usual instructions. I don't see anything weird there. Usual formulas given, those of you who have never seen the formulas before. Here are our formulas. This is the usual staple formulas for the last few decades. And of course, this is the link for the student tab. Let me just write the student tab here. Brought to you courtesy the student tab, #1 learning institution in the Caribbean. And you can always WhatsApp this number to join any one of these subjects for CSEC or CAPE. Now, don't go WhatsApp the number now. Right now, registration isn't open for the new cycle. It opens in July, but by the ending of May, you can start to register. So if you're watching this and you see that's near the end of May, feel free to WhatsApp the number to register for any of your CSEC or CAPE lessons. A lot of the students who here on the live, that are from the student hub, you all could say yeah, and you all could testify that the exam contained every single thing that we did in the last few days and the run up to the exam. We just had a 12-hour crash course, and let's just jump right into it. All right, so hello to the chat. Hi, Ciara. Hi, who else? Richard, Cheyenne. Using a calculator, otherwise evaluate the following. So 3 over 2 squared, this is the same as 9 over 4. I square both of them, minus 1 plus 6. Now the plus here is very sticky, so I can do like 1 plus 6 and then do the minus. Or I can put the entire thing in my calculator if I'm feeling the heebie-jeebies there. So my calculator is telling me, not this one, let me use the general calculator here. It's telling me that, where is this? 3 over 2 to b squared. Feel free to write your answer as I'm doing it. It's a speed run. I'm not really explaining a lot. I'll pause a little now and then and give some explanations. Is 7.25. Now they want the exact form. So 29 over 4 is really great to put in this case. But if you put 7.25, that's also correct. Once you don't round it off, you should be good to go. So which is the same as yeah, 29 over 4, 7.25. If you do the mixed number version, you're safe as well. And we keep moving. The root, we're gonna put, just breezing through these easy questions here in the beginning, times 10 over 7 plus 12 divided by 1 and 3/5. I'm getting the 21 over 2. You can leave it as an improper fraction. That is totally fine. Did they ask anything else? Giving your answer is in exact form, so improper fraction is totally fine. I'm getting also 10.5, which is also exact. So these are exact answers. Please don't do anything else with that. You can also just leave it, as I said, as a fraction, right? Miranda earns $8,316 per month. She spends 4/7 of the earnings on utility bills, food, and personal items. Saves the remainder. So the remainder in this case is 7/7 minus 4/7, which of course is 3/7. What percentage of her monthly salary does she save? So we want 3/7 as a percentage. save 3/7, which is the same as 3/7 times 100 over 1. So as a percentage, this will be, now 7 doesn't divide into 100 exact. We are going to get 42.85 or 300 over 7%. (300 over 7%) approximately 42.9% to 3 significant figures. She earns 4/7 and saves the remainder. The remainder is 3/7, and 3/7 expressed as a percentage. All right, y'all, let me know if y'all get that. Y'all got that? The portion of our earnings spent on utility, food, and personal items is divided in the ratio 5:3:4. Calculate the amount of money she spends on personal items. Well, she earns 8,316, spends 4/7 of that, 8,316. So 4/7 of that is 4 over 7, and we're going to multiply this by 8,316. We are getting $4,752, and personal items is represented by the 4. So the total number of parts would be 5 plus 3 plus 4. So that's 7 plus 5. So that's 12 parts in all we're dealing with. And so we can find for one, or we can just find for the fraction. Let's do the find for one method. So if you do the FFO find for one method, one part would be 4,752 divided by 12. So we divide that 4,752 by 12, we get 396. And then, what is it? Personal items. Personal items is going to be 4 times that, 396. And we get 1584. So 1584 spent on personal items. As if you do the find for one method. If you did a fraction method, you would have simply got the personal items as 4/12 of that whole 4,752, which does the same thing, divide by 12, multiply by 4, and you get your 1582 right there. So personal items equal 1582, no, 84, so 1584, sorry. So I didn't do any of these questions before, obviously. This just popped out. This just happened. So if any mistakes in the calculation, I'll always come back and put a comment, but I don't think I would make any mistakes. So far, so good. Or like if I made a typo, like how I put 2 there. So let's keep going. Miranda saves the same amount of money each month. Show that her annual savings from her earnings is that. So her savings represents 3/7 of the whole, because remember she's saving what, 3/7 of the whole, 8,316. And since there are 12 months, I'll multiply by 12 one time, and this without the shadow of a doubt should be equal to this. Therefore, QED, we have shown what we are supposed to show for this question here. Let me just double check that, make sure nothing suspicious went on. Times 8,316 times the 12 months. Yep, 42768. We love a show that question. This is called a show that question because they actually give you the answer. So we require to show how they came about the answer. Let's keep going. All right, so I'm seeing here a compound interest formula. It's additive, so it's accumulative. It's an appreciation kind of idea. She invests this amount in a credit union, which pays compound interest 5%. What is the total interest? Now, the important thing to remember here is they want the interest. This formula, and I told my class this, maybe 2 days ago, the compound interest formula gives you the amount. So, and after 2 years, once again, after 2 years, so there's the two methods that you can do. You can do the repeated method. I'll do both of them. And then you can use the formula method. So repeated interest method mean you're gonna work out the interest year after year. So after first year, the interest will be, it's 5% every year. So it's gonna be 5% of the 42768. Now there's a faster way to do it. Since the interest is compounding and it's an investment, it's the value is going up, right? So the 5% would represent an increase of 5% on the 100%. So I could put 105 here. So I add only 100% one time. Now, if I work out that after the first year, our amount is going to be 105 divided by 100, multiplied by 4, 2. So that fraction multiplied by 4, 2, 7, 6, 8. Did I type the right thing? I think I did. So the value is 44906.4, right? And then after the second year, we're going to have another 105 over 100 multiplied by that is 44906.4. So this is a method I know a lot of students use. And this gives us the answer 47151.72. Which looks reasonable. This is the amount though. So the interest is going to be that value minus the principal, the 42768, which is minus 42768, 4383.72. Why is my board giving trouble? So did you all get this answer? You all got this answer for the interest. The formula method now, so this was the repeated interest method where you will be interest year after year. The formula method, we'll just plug it into the formula, which will be much easier. So the amount is going to be the principal, which is 42768, and we multiply 1 plus the rate, which is 5% over 100. Now 1 is actually 100%, so that's like 100 plus 5, so that's 105. And what happens, we'll raise this to n, where n is the index, how many years we keep doing this 105 over 100 multiplying. So it's like you repeat the process. This is squaring, so it's going to go 2 years. And of course, you should get the same answer there, the 47151.72. Let me plug it in to make sure there's no funny business going on. 42768 into 1 plus 5 over 100 to be squared. And there we go, 47151.72. Great. So once you get this answer, that you have to remember that is the amount, that is not the interest. So you subtract, and let's make sure what is the total interest in after 2 years. Yes, interest is what we are interested in. So there we go. That's your final answer. Great. All right. Yes. Check on one thing here. Great. 4313.72 is the answer for the interest, right? Everybody got that? Food? So then we move on to number 2, factorize completely. This looks like, for the untrained eye, you see square, you see a subtraction, you see an x squared difference of 2 squares. But this isn't being squared, the x isn't being squared. So it's just basic factorization. So this is what's there. And we need to factorize this. So we just need to ask what's common. Common seems to be x and y actually. X and y into y is extra here minus x. So that's it. We can't do anything else with this. We have to stop right there. That's one mark. That's one mark. So it's xy into y minus x. Everybody get that? This is a quadratic. 3 by 10 is 30. So I know I'm looking at 6 and 5. 3x squared plus 6x minus 5x will give us that 1x. And then we'll go 3x into x plus 2. Put right over x plus 2 here. Throw a negative 5 there. Boil down to 3x minus 5 into x plus 2. That's our quadratic factorization AC method. And this here was what we call basic factorization. Sometimes called HCF, highest common factor factorization. Nothing spectacular about that. Solve for n. So we need to solve for n. This is not dependent on the previous questions. Very straightforward so far. Exam, not particularly hard, not particularly like a walk in the park. Very straightforward, no tricks, no anything. 4n divided by 4 to the power of 3. So what we're saying is we have 4 to the power n divided by 4 to the power of 3. And this is equal to 1 over 4. So a nice thing to do here would be to cross multiply. Let me see if that makes sense for me. Actually, I'll just bring up this 4 over 3. So multiply both sides effectively by the 4 to the power of 3. That will cancel this. My board is kind of spazzing out every now and then. Maybe it's excited like me. So then we have 4 to the power of 3 over 4. So we have 4n is equal, and one of the 4s will cancel with one of these 4s, you'll get 4 squared. So from this, we could already determine that n is equal to 2. You all got n is equal to 2. Yeah, n is equal to 2. That makes perfect sense. If n is equal to 2 here, this is like 4 to the power of 2 divided by 4 to the power of 3 is equal to 1 over 4. The 4 squared will cancel with the 4 to the power of 3 and just leave 1 4 remaining. So makes perfect sense. N is 2. The lengths of, oh yeah, feel free to share it up with your peeps and things. Tell them solutions by the length of the 3 sides of the trapezium are shown below. The area of the trapezium is blah, blah, blah. Write down an expression in terms of P and Q for the area. I told you, CSEC loves trapeziums. So the area of a trapezium is equal to half the sum of the parallel sides multiplied by the height. So compare that with this, A, B, H. So now we're going to substitute. It's going to be half, and we were told that the area is 750. 750 is equal to half of 3Q plus 4P, or 4P plus 3Q, depending on how you want to put it. Like, I pay the way that I have it there. 4P plus 3Q, and you multiply by 6P. So if we let this half interact with this 6, this is going to be 3. So it's like we're multiplying 3P by everything there. So when the smoke clears, 750, I think this can divide by 3 actually. 750, can it divide by 3? Yes, it can. 750 divided by 3 is 250. So you have 250 because I divide both sides by 3 in the end. Divide both sides by 3. And I have 250, and I'll have 4P squared, because just imagine the 3 is gone now and the P goes to the 4P. So I'll have 4P squared plus 3PQ. So I kind of jumped some steps there, but at the ending, this is what you should have. This is what you should have. I've seen a lot of chatter in the chat about this. People saying it should be 5 for n. Kiki, no, n can be 5. If this is 5, this will turn out to be 4 squared. Yeah, this is the expression. So this, I didn't work out anything except the expression. It's not like I can solve this. They ask for an expression. So if you substitute it and you stopped, you may, yeah, they may give you the mark because you have an expression. So if you stopped up here, I just did some extra working. So I had 750 is equal to a half, the sum of the parallel sides, 4P plus 3Q multiplied by 6P. What I'm saying is the 2, or maybe some of you will multiply the 2 across here. Is that what you did? And you got your 1500 is equal to 6P 4p plus 3q. And then it was like, maybe it was like, how many times will 6 go into that? I get 250 is equal to p, 4p plus 3q. However way you do it, and then the p will multiply and you'll end up back in the same place. So whatever way you choose to simplify that, you get through. Then you'll end up with 250 is equal to 4p squared plus 3p cubed. This is the simplified version. This is direct. When you directly substitute, you'll end up there. So technically, this should get the 1 mark. If it's 1 mark, if it's 2 mark, you'll want to simplify it. So let's keep going. Given that q is equal to 2p, determine the value of p. So if q is equal to 2p, then anywhere we see p, we can substitute it by, anywhere we say CQ, sorry, you can substitute it by 2p. So 250 is equal to 4p squared plus 3p, and there's a q here, so let's put the 2p, because q is actually equal, q here is equal to 2p. So I got rid of the q. So somebody saying I abandoned them this year. No, I spoke, a lot of students messaged me on TikTok, Instagram. I posted a lot of videos on TikTok, and I have the content still up. So a lot of people expect me to do like a fresh thing each year, fresh lives each year. This year I kind of focus more internally with the students in the student hub. But all the information from the years before are still there. Even I saw Terry, Mr. Terry David did a live last night, and lots of people wanted him to do more as well. But all the information that we have up, Mr. Terry David, adaptation, Kerwin Springer, it's still there. You can use the information from before, right? Even for other subjects. You don't need a fresh new live. It's the same concepts. 4p squared plus 3 by 2 is 6p squared. So now I have 250 is equal to that. And then how many p's squared are this? This is 10p squared is equal to 250. So it's kind of working out really nicely. So if I divide by 10, I'll get 25 is equal to p squared. P squared is equal to 25. So p is equal to the square root of 25. So they said determine the value singular of p. So p is equal to 5. Technically, p is equal to also equal to -5. But since they said the value, I think they should give you maths. I think they should give you the full maths if you just put p is equal to 5. I think they should give you the full maths if you say p is equal to 5. But if you put or -5, if negative values are considered, that's good as well. Let's go up and see if there's any. Oh no, p can be equal to -5. It's a trapezium. It's a trapezium. It's a geometrical shape. If p is -5, this is a negative value. So -5 not considered for geometrical side. So p is equal to 5. So that's a nice hint to know that p is just 5. It's the side of a length. So, and that's another 9 marks, another question done. Using a ruler or pencil. So I'm very happy to see this pop up again. How many of you was ecstatic to see a nice, simple, old-fashioned construction show up? They've been very rare in the last like 5 years. Once or twice we saw them. So using a ruler and a pencil. Obviously, I have a ruler here, but it's kind of lame. I'll just show you what you would need to do, right? Construct the triangle PQR such that PQ is length 9 centimeters. So what you'll do is draw a baseline and then stick your compass in there. You understand? Like your compass sticks there. You open out your compass with your pencil and you open out this. This is just like a small version of your compass, and you open this out. You measure it on your ruler. So you take your compass and you take your compass and you measure, what do we want? PQ 9 centimeters, and then you come here and you make an arc on the 9 centimeter mark like this. Bang. So let's say this is like 9 centimeters there. you will put P there one time, and you can put Q. Don't darken that yet. Let's wait till the end. QPR is QPR. So we're looking at an angle. Can you envision that we're looking at an angle right here? QPR is 60 degrees. 60 degrees is actually the easiest one to construct. So you open out your compass, you about here, so you make an arc, and then using the same length, you come back and you join the arc here. So just to repeat what I would have done, I would have stuck my compass in here, made the arc, and then stuck my compass in here with the same length and cut there. That's the 60 degrees. And now I draw a next construction line that cuts through that at 60 degrees going up there. Somehow that feels a little bigger than 60 degrees, but it's just a sketch. And PR is 12. So it was very important that you remember to kind of like draw a sketch first, because PR being 12 would mean that that goes up pretty long, right? So like this is 9, but 12 might, you all tell me, did the shape go like way past there? You can put PR as the base. You can put PR as the base. Those of you who had PR as your base, I'll show you just now what will happen. So like maybe 12 would have gone up, like way up there or something. I don't know. Let me see. So if this is 6, I don't know where it would have went. This rule, I guess, problem sets in. So let's say you got R there, and what you would have done to get your R, you lengthen this, and you open out your compass to 12. So you measure 12 on your compass now, and you make an arc, and that would have been your R somewhere up there. And now you can confidently connect all of these with your darker pencil now, like this. So that's your triangle PQR, and you're getting some nice marks, 3 healthy marks for that. Now it is entirely possible for some students to put PR as the base. So if you put PR as the base, the arrangement will come out like this. So maybe you put PR as a base, and you had your 12 here. So you did your arc, whatever, that's your extra, you got the arc there, that's 12. This is P, this is R, P, R, or maybe you decide to be the weird one and play vice versa, I don't know. And QPR is 60. So your 60 would have gone like this instead. So you'd have constructed bang, your 60 come out like this. And this would have been your shorter length. So you'd have had the 9 measured there and the 12 measured here. And when you connect, you end up with this. So there's like 2 variations to this. Of course, you want to, when you finish, put in your measurement. Put in your measurement like this. Like say this is 9 centimeters. This is 60 degrees. And this is 12 centimeters. And you move forward at your life, collect your 3 marks going. Then we go into the staple. For the last 5 years, this has been coming over and over and over and over. The diagram shows 2 quadrilaterals, R and S, where S is the image of R. What just went on there? Wow. Where S is the image of R under a transformation. So maybe they want us to know the transformation. It's definitely an enlargement. So maybe we need to describe it. Describe fully the single. So it's one thing that maps R into S. So to collect those 3 marks, we need to say 3 things. So the first thing we need to do is show them on the diagram how we establish the center of enlargement. Now I did this a good bit of times on this here channel. How many of you all can testify you spot me doing this sometime recently? Bang, we have established the center of enlargement. It seems pretty much like it's that point up there. How many of you all were here? If you was here when I did this before the exam, say me. So that's our center of enlargement. And you want to show this construction that you did here. You can also see that it's an enlargement of scale factor 2, because this length, if you use your compass, you can see it's twice. It's 2 times the length. You can verify with one of these sides as well. Scale factor 2. So let's go collect all these marks. So it's an enlargement, that's 1 mark. Scale factor 2, That's 2 marks. And the center of enlargement is the 0.37. 1, 2, 3, 7. Center of enlargement is 3, 7. So far, so good. And just like that, you've collected a nice 3 marks. So also in this exam, CSEC has returned the proper mark allocation. Like sometimes you see they do things like this and they say 1 mark, 2 marks, and like as a teacher, you're trying to figure out what for the maths exam. So maybe they got some help with this maths exam. I know the POA exam had craziness going on with it. And the grid on page 12, draw the image of quadrilateral R when it is translated, so a translation now by a vector, -4, 5. So -4 means it's going to go down 4. 5 means it's going to go across 5. Down 4, across 5. And we're going to do that to quadrilateral R. So we want to send this down 4 and across 5. So let's do it point by point. Let's consider this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Straight down to this, and it goes down 4. So that's there. And from this point, I can see the spatial arrangement of the rest of points. So this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 4. And then we have the 2 other points here. In this case, you don't need to use X's for the points, and almost everything else when you're drawing, you need to use X's. Since I'm just drawing geometrical shapes here, I don't need to be too. What is set to label this? T, name the image T. So there we go, that's T over there. So let's double check this and make sure I'm not doing nonsense. Yeah, I am doing nonsense. You have to go backwards 4 and up 5. So this is your X and this is your Y. So backwards 4 and up 5. So sorry for scaring half the Caribbean. Sorry for scaring you all there. We want to go backwards 4, so I get to show you it now. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, backwards 4, and up 5. So from 1 up 5, we'll go to 6. We go to 6. Bang. And there we go. So, all you get frightened, eh? All right. So yes, that's the image. Let me just double check it again. So yeah, backwards 4, up 5. So the first number here represents the horizontal movement, and this represents the vertical movement. On the grid, draw the image quadrilateral R after the image of R when it's rotated 180 degrees about the origin. Name this one M. So we want to rotate this 180 degrees. How much marks for it? 2 marks. So we could give them a little extra. We could give them a little fancy thing. So the fancy thing you could give them for this one is to use your compass and draw a little circle around. And use your compass, draw a little circle around here to show that you're doing the 180 degrees. If you don't want to do that, it should be fine, because after finding one point, you should be able to determine where the other points are. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one will go up here. Notice this is 0.44, so it turns -4, -4 when it turns all the way around. This is let's use this one. This is 0.12. And that point is over here now. It's now -1, -1, -2. So our rotation, 180 degrees about the origin. Did they say about the origin? I need to double check that just now. Would look like this, and we're supposed to label this one M. Wait, I forget how somebody forget for the question. When it's rotated 180 degrees about the origin M. So far, the exam has not been easy. I can't walk out and say that's the easiest exam ever. Unless you're really good in maths, or like you study. Like a math student who study and accustomed getting over 80%, I think would say this exam extremely easy. Why? Because it's straightforward. There's nothing like weird and making teachers scratch their head like, why are they testing this or anything. It's just like, it's straightforward. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So far, well done, CSEC. Well done. So that's your rotation. And I know I don't be saying no well done CXC unless they really do well done. And that's about that business about glazing CXC. The graph below shows the straight line PQ. All right. Find the gradient PQ and write down the equation of the line y of PQ, of the line through PQ. So this is y is equal to that gradient looking like 3 and 1, 3x plus 1 is the answer here. The gradient is 3. So now you can get this question in a few seconds, boy. This was the coordinate geometry come easier than anything, but coordinate geometry is normally straightforward. So let me show you how to do the working. Of course, some of you all want to say m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you'd use the maybe some points that you pick on the graph. You want to show them that you're picking points far apart. Always, it's so exact. It's not the end of the wheel in this scenario. 3, 7, and -2, -3. 3, 7, -2, -3. So we have -3 minus 7 and where do I have -3 minus 7 and am I using the right points? -3 minus 7 and so I have 3, 7 and the gradient is not 3x, the gradient is 2. Gradient is 2. Gradient is 2. -3 minus 7 over -2 minus 3. So this is -10 over -5. So this is 2. The gradient is 2. So how I worked out the gradient is with watching, but my eyes saw this as the origin. So I watched the origin to 3. So I noticed that it went up 3. But actually, this is not the origin. This is the y-intercept. So for every 1, it's going up 2. So that's how I can tell the gradient without actually calculating the gradient. So for every 1, it's going up 2. So the gradient is 2 and the y-intercept is 1. So a very straightforward question here. M is equal to 2. The y-intercept from graph, you expect it to say from graph C, which is called the y-intercept, is equal to 1. Of course, some of you all may have done the calculation for C, which was unnecessary because you could just use the graph and see right here, big and bold, it passing through 1. So y is equal to 2x plus 1, more free marks there if you ask me. Then we go on into the functions question. F and g are defined as that. G of -6. So straightforward again. If you know it, you get it. If you don't know it, you don't get it. So -18 plus 2, so you get -16. 1 mark in the back as substitution. The inverse function, g inverse of x. So you want to reverse g of x. So therefore, g inverse of x is going to be equal to x minus 2 divided by 3. Or you can go through the whole long working. You all know it. Let y be equal to g of x. So y is equal to 3x plus 2. Interchange variables. So y minus, interchange variables first. So x is equal to 3y plus 2. Make y the subject of the formula. So x minus 2 is equal to 3y. Y is equal to x minus 2 divided by 3. Therefore, g inverse of x is equal to x minus 2 over 3. So the way to work it out is you multiply by 3, then you add 2. So reverse will be subtract 2, then divide by 3. So that's why I did it here. Show that fg of x is equal to 3. Okay, so we need to find the composite function. This is called composite functions. Composite functions, fg of x would be fg of x. I just need to see both of them close to each other now. But where's the f of x again? F of x is x squared minus 1. And g of x is 3x plus 2. That's it? 3x plus 2? Okay, great. So what is f g of x? This means g of x comes first. So it means I need to put g of x entirely inside f of x. Anywhere I see x in f of x, I'll put g of x. So f g of x is really 3x plus 2 to b squared minus 1. And it's a show that question, so very nice. So 3x squared plus 3x plus 2, which is g of x, to b squared, because I replaced x with g of x, is really 9x squared. That's no, I am seeing that they're going to do something spooky here. Okay, fine. 9x squared plus 2 by 3 is 6 by 2, 12x plus 4. So when you square all this, you're going to get this. Then you're going to get 9x squared plus 12x plus 3. I can factorize out a 3. So I get 3x squared plus 3 goes into that, get 4x plus 1. And this will factorize to give me 3x plus 1, right? 3x plus 1 by x plus 1. So we have shown what is to be shown. So that's that one, fg of x. Also, if you're practicing this, you'll be able to run it through a little fast. If not, this may take a little time off of you. And then this will take a next bit of time off of you. So hopefully that didn't happen. Or maybe some of you all probably just write this and go to this and say it proven. And I don't know if they give the mark for that. That song a little suspicious there. They skip real steps. Hence solve the equation fg of x is equal to 0. So fg of x equal to 0 can now be demonstrated like 0 is equal to 3x plus 1, x plus 1. The 3 can go, when you multiply a product and you get 0, it means one of the things is 0. So either 3 is 0, which has no consequence to the x, or 3x plus 1 is 0, or x plus 1 is 0. So either 3x plus 1 is equal to 0, so 3x is equal to -1, x is equal to -1 over 3. X plus 1 is equal to 0, so x is equal to -1. So those are your two answers. Also, you should bear in mind that even if you didn't figure out this, you can still solve this because it's a show that question. Oh, another idea I'm seeing somebody writing in chat. If you expanded this to get this or to get this or something like that, that's cool as well. That's cool as well. That's like working in reverse, which is a little bit weird, but okay, fine. Here we go to number 5, statistics. We love it. Cumulative. So 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 8 is 15, 15 plus 3 is 18, 19, 19 plus 6 is 25, 25 and 5, 30. So it works out really well. Complete the cumulative column in the table above. Use the information above, determine the range. So this is the mark. This is how many people got the marks. So the range looks a little spooky here, but it's the marks they scored are shown in the table below. 30 students took a maths test. This is the marks. The range is the highest value minus the lowest value. So the highest possible mark is 10 and 5 students got 10. And the lowest possible mark is 1 and 3 students got 1. So the range is the highest value minus the lowest value. So it's actually 10 minus 1 is equal to 9 marks. 9 marks is the range, which is weird. I hope nobody did like 30 minus 3 or maybe 8 minus 1. Because it's a little weird that they ask the range in a situation like this. The modal mark seems to be 3. So the modal mark is 3. You have 8 times. It occurred 8 times. Median mark. All right, so I was explaining this with the class over and over and over and over in the last few crash courses. It's in order already. So to work out the median, I can use the tallies to help me. It's like I'm crossing out 1, 2, 3. I'm cross out 1, 2, 3 here. But you have to keep in mind this is 5. So when I cross out 1, 2, 3, 2 more remains. Cross out 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now 4 remains. 3, 3, 1, 1, 4 remains. Oof, this is a little spooky here, boy. Cross, 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 cross. Oh, is the median between 3 and 5? Is it 4? Let me check with the frequency. That is naughty of them. So I'm using this 3 cross with the 5, two persons remain here. 2 cross with this, 2 persons remain there. I'll do it another way just now. 2 cross with this, 4 persons remain there. 4 cross with this, 4 persons remain there. Yeah, it's exactly between 3 and 5. The median is 4. Another way to do it, some of you all may have done it like this using the formula, is if we have how many scores? 30 scores. So we have 30 scores. So the median will occur at, also called Q2, will occur at half of the n plus 1, where n is the number of items. So half of 30 plus 1, it will occur on the 15.5th term. So it's because of an even number of terms, the median is going to occur between 2 terms. 15.5th. So we count 15. So we count 15 items. 3, 4, that's 7. 7 and 8 is 15. So right between the 15th and the 16th item, it will occur. So the median is 3 plus 5 divided by 2, 4 marks. The median is 4 marks. It's between this 3 and this 5. Very interesting question. That's the first weird question for the exam. Like, not weird, but first question that like a little off the beaten path. The mean mark. So to get the mean mark, do we know all the individual marks? No, we don't. So to get the mean mark, we'll have to call this our X. That's our actual marks. This is our F, and we need a FX column. So if we had intervals here, we didn't have intervals, the X would have been the median of the intervals. But since we just have X, since we just have one mark, we can use X. I'm going to turn on this. Guys, this is a standing desk. And these days I'm trying to take my exercise anyway I could get it. I have a walking treadmill here. So while I'm showing all this maths, I might as well be exercising, right? Slow walks. You gotta get on this. Gotta get on this belly one way or the other. Hot boy summer. All right. So what we talking about now again? Yeah, mean mark. Mean mark. So fx. So we multiply x by f. So 1 by 3 is 3. 2 by 7 is 14. 3 by 15 is 45. 5 by 18 is, I don't know what 5 by 18 is. 5. Where's my calculator? 5 by 18 is it 80, 90, 90. 19 by 7, 133. 25 by 8, 200, 300. Now we add up all of this. So we add up all of this. So it'll be like 3 plus 4 plus, no. 3. I have 14 there. 4 by 7, 28. 3 plus 28, this treadmill trained me off for. Oh, no. It's 7 by 2, 14. Oof, that's good. Scary times. No, I did the wrong thing. Yeah, so the treadmill is still training me off. Fx is 1 by 3, 2 by 4, 3 by 8, 5 by 3. Which is why when we're doing this column, we like to put the two of them right here, right? So normally we'll have the F here and we'll have the X there, instead of ending up in problems like what I do there. You see why I mix up who it is I'm multiplying. This is my F, this is my X. So 1 by 3 is 3, 2 by 4 is 8, 3 by 8 is 24, 3 by 5 is 15, 1 by 7 is 7, 6 by 8 is 48, and then we have 50 here. So now we're adding it up. 3 plus 8 plus 24 plus 15 plus 7 plus 48 plus 50. So for those of you all watching in the future, what was the thing that raised my red flag there while doing this? It's because I get in huge numbers down there now. Sometimes I get bigger numbers down here because I'm multiplying by larger numbers, but not so much bigger. So that's a little scary for me. Let's just double check all of this. And yeah, we're looking good. And 155, you all got 155? 155. So the total is, or the sum of fx is 155. And what's the sum of f? How many items in the survey? Was it 30? 30 items? Somebody's telling me I added up wrong. So let me just, somebody's saying 161, 177. Let me just check over my additions. 3 plus 8 plus 24 plus 15 plus 7 plus 48 plus 50. Nah, I'll go and fight somebody else. So 155 divided by 30. So the mean is sum of fx over sum of f. So 155 divided by 30. So we're back to normal grounds. 155 divided by 30 is 5.16. 31 over 6 max, approximately 5.17 to 3 significant figures. All right, you all got that? So that mean was interesting. Now this is normal things. This is an easier version to what normally comes as statistics, because now we don't have to draw anything, which was nice. We had anything to draw: completely cumulative frequency, range, mode, median, mean. The following two-way table shows the, so they will bring in these kind of tables here. So we was going through this. We was going through this exact same table in the crash course. Dun, 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 dun. A student is chosen at random. Find the probability that the student is female who failed the test. Female and failed. Find the probability that the student is a female who failed the test. So female and failed is this. And how many took it in all? 30. So the probability is equal to the number of desired outcomes over the total number of outcomes. So it's 13 over 30, and you can stop right there. 13 over 30. So female students, find the probability that the student is a female who failed. 30 is the total, right? It's not conditional. What is a male student is chosen at random. So now this goes into a kind of conditional, but they don't really. It's weird that they bring in this now, because conditional probability isn't explicitly like stated like that in the syllabus. So I always have a little, they start doing this now. I prepared my class for this because I know they're doing it. So we did it in the crash course. But this is more like AdMath style, a kind of conditional probability. So they're starting to make probability a little more complex. Teachers, students, look out for that. What is the probability that he passed the test? So now we only dealing with the male side of things. The male students are 9 males. And what is the probability that he passed? 4 out of 9. 4 males pass. So once again, probability is number of desired outcomes over total number of outcomes. The total in this case is 9. So the probability that he is male, that he passed, given that he is male, is 4 out of 9. So 4 out of 9 is the answer there. PMQROS is the cross-section of a play area in a park. PQRS is, somebody is quarreling about that. Let me just take a look. Nah, none of the arguments hold in water. Everything is everything. PMQROS is the cross-section of a play area in a park. PQRS is a rectangle. All right, so measurement man, do anything. Well done, measurement man. No matter if the exam comes straightforward, you will still be yourself. Big up you. O is the midpoint of RS, OP and OQ equal to 15, given there. Angle POQ is 40. So no new friends, they want us to use pi as 22 over 7. Determine the value of angle OPQ. OPQ, well, this is a PQR is isosceles. So base angles are equal, and angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, OPQ will have to be the 180 degrees minus the 40. So you get the remaining angle and then you divide it by 2. So that's 140 divided by 2, which is 70 degrees. So you all got 70 degrees here. Class, 70 degrees. And calculate the length of OR. OR, that's here. This is 14.1. This was given on the outside. Now they didn't write it here, which is weird. But I'm assuming that this 14.1, that was on your paper too, stands for this length here. Normally they're very explicit about who is what, right? This is a right angle triangle. This is 14.1. Of course, if this is 40, it will also mean that this is 70, because 70 and 70 would have to add up to the 140 degrees. So this is 70. So consider what we have. We have a right angle triangle. We know that this is 70 and we know that this is 14.1 and we want the length of this. So we can see that this angle involves tan. This is the opposite side. This is the adjacent side to the angle. The hypotenuse, and we're not interested in that to solve the question. So calculate the length OR. We can call OR whatever we want. So what I want to say, the tan of theta is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So therefore, the tan of 70 degrees should be equal to 14.1 over OR. We can call it X. Can't we use Pythagoras? Oh yeah, we can also use Pythagoras. This was given as 15, but I already start using that. So OR is 14.1 over tan 70. So this question, actually, they gave us a little too much information. So I hope that the Pythagoras term and this also works out to the same answer, because they gave us a little too much information for the question, right? So 14.1, where am I? 14.1 divided by tan 70. And let me see. Pythagoras theorem, people, you all got this 5.13. 2, 3 significant figures. You all got that? 5.13. Can you use cosine rule? Yeah, you can use cosine rule, but wow, that's that's an overkill. That's like bringing a whole tank and you just want a box or something. I don't know. Calculate the area of the shaded portion of the diagram. The area of the shaded portion of the diagram. So there's a few things we can do. The area of a triangle is always half the area of the rectangle, the enclosed rectangle. So the fact that we actually know this is 5.1319, 13198. I can add on, I can multiply by 2, get this whole length of the rectangle, half it, and then I can also get the area of the circle. So without any further talk, let's go ahead and do that. So area of triangle is equal to base by height divided by 2, or half the area of the rectangle. And the base is 5.13 times 2 multiplied by the height, which is 14.1. 14.1 divided by 2. 5.13 times 2 multiplied by the height, 5.13 times 2 multiplied by the height, right, divided by 2, base by height divided by 2. And the area of the circle, is pi r squared divided by 2. Semicircle. Let's do the semicircle one time. The area of the semicircle is pi r squared divided by 2. We use pi as 22/7. So it's going to be pi. We know r already is 5.13. Oh my goodness. 5. That's not my board sticking. Come on, board. Come on. 5.13 squared divided by 2. So I divide by 2 because I want semicircle, right? Pi r squared, and this I use pi as 22/7. So then we just need to find the combination of these two things. So the total area would be the combination of that, right? All right, let me go ahead and just work this out quickly in the background here. 5.13, y'all could double check on your calculator. For those of y'all who did it for the exam, y'all can see if you all got the same thing I got. So this is like 72.3. I'm keeping it to 3 significant figures. Or some of you use AB sine C, that will work as well. So like if you use AB sine C and you use 40, that works as well. That's totally fine. But now I could get the area of the triangle base by height. So as I said, too much information was given in this question. And now we have 22/7 by 5.13 squared. And then we divide by 2. So you get 41.4. So this approximates to 41.4 plus 72.3. It's not going to be the most accurate thing. 113.7. There may be like a little discrepancy here. Then use the exact values of the 5.13. So 113.7. What are we dealing with? Meters squared. Holy smokes! Let me just go and check and make sure everything was in. Let's go check and make sure everything was in meters. No tricks, right? Everything was in meters, no weirdness with this question. Okay, so looks like that's the answer. Is that what you all got? 113.7. Sarah, you got that? Nice. Find the perimeter. Oh gosh, this question no stop. Find the perimeter of the Alias trying to find the perimeter of the cross section PMQROS. So the perimeter, so we want the arc length PMQR. Hold on. PMQROS. PMQROS. Oh, they want the whole cross section. I'll do it right here, right? To just be able to see everything. So the perimeter is going to be this side plus this side plus this side. So what's that? Sum of all sides plus that arc included, right? So it's going to be 2 times the 14.1 plus this 2 times the 5.13, because this is 5.13 and I multiply by 2, plus the arc length. Then arc length is theta over 360 by pi 2 pi r. So theta over 360 by 2 pi r, and theta in this case is 180. So basically it's half of 2 pi r. So just pi r. Pi r, right? You'll see how I come down to boil it down to pi r here for this. Theta over 360 by 2 pi r. So we will call this now. Pi in this case is 22 over, this is really 22/7 by the 5.13. So I'm working out these two. 2 by 14.1. The question isn't bad, just you need to take your time. 14.1 plus 2 by 5.13. Measurement could be worse and has usually been worse than this. 22/7 and 5.13. And the total is approximately 54.6 centimeters. You all got that? You all got that? 54.6 centimeters. So the perimeter is 54.6 centimeters. So I don't see my WhatsApp going off with anything. I see no teacher saying sir. Normally if I do anything, a couple of teachers will message me one time. Yeah, we looking good? We're looking good. So thereabouts. It depends on how accurate you work. Let me see how much steps I walked so far as we go into the next question. Number 7. Only 640 steps. This morning I do 200, now I do an next 700. Yeah, it's just a slow walk. I'm trying to build up a sweat while I'm doing this maths. A sequence of figures is made up of regular pentagons. Wait, did I forget to add something? What do you want? P, the area of the length PMQROS. PMQROS. No, I did it properly. You all went ahead and added the 15. That's not. Wonder what the perimeter, the 15 on the inside. Yeah, so 54.6 is good. I did add the arc length. Did I? 2 by 5.3. 2 by 14.3, right? 2.5.3 plus 22 over 7 by 5.13. I did. 10.26 is the thing, not 5.13? Yes, that's why I multiplied it by 2. 2 by 5.13. And I didn't multiply the 14.1 by 4. I multiplied it by 2 because it's 2 sides. 1, 2. Any other questions? Circle is half. Yes, that's why it's pi r, not 2 pi r. I can't use the arc length. Who told you that? Yes, I have to use the arc length. They literally said PMQ. Okay. They never said S minus P. All right, that's enough. Let's go on to this one. It's an additional pattern. It keeps adding on one new thing. So that's fantastic news for us. Fantastic news. Thing to make you smile. You know, your table that's following up is going to be straightforward. Good. Obviously, use a ruler. This is just a sketch of what you'll have for your figure 4. 2 quick marks there. So quick you get a box. Now, boy. That's one of the quickest marks we get in a long time. That is one of the quickest marks we get in a long time. Make you stop and watch a few things and make sure everything is everything. What you thought about this? This was a nice little breather there. That's a nice little breather there, boy. All right, and then we're going on. It skipped all the way to 20. Whoa, 6 more marks to collect. My class, I know all you had, all you make all your name here. Make sure you use ruler for this. All you probably went ballistic on this question. So obviously you do the n first. It's going up by 4. So that means it's 4n and 4 by this plus 1. 4n plus 1. And this one is going up by 3. So it's going to be 3n. 3 by this is plus 2. 3 plus 2. Plus 2. So 20 to work out this part here, you'll see 20 by 4 is 80. 80 plus 1 is 81. To work out this part, 20 by 3 is 60. 60 plus 2 is 62. And now we need to do it in reverse. So for part 1 was substitution. For part 2, you'll show the substitution, right? Like for part 1, you'll be like when n is equal to 20, s is equal to 4 by 20 plus 1, and that's how we get the 81 and so on, right? For part 2, you're going to equate 4n plus 1 should be equal to 4n plus 1 should be equal to 169. I've seen some people quarreling about some random things there. So 4n is equal to 169 minus 1, so that's 168. And then n would be 168 divided by 4, so we're looking at 42. And it's 42. So if this is 42, 42 times 3, so 126 plus 2 is 128. So we just work forward to get this other one. 6 quick marks. That is the sweetest 6 marks on the paper so far. So this part was actually on the easier side. So far the whole paper come very straightforward. There's one little part with the median that was a little off the beaten path, and this was on the easy side. So yeah, boy, this gonna make you smile here. Now, this is where they normally test if you really understand what's going on here, right? In an equation S, D, and N, in terms of that, show the relationship between the number of sticks, S, and the number of dots, N, for figure N. The relationships between the number of sticks, S, and the number of dots. Interesting. Write an equation in S, D, and N to show the relationship between the number of sticks and the number of dots. What does question mean for the figure N? I need to pause my treadmill here. What they mean by this? Between the number of sticks, what relationship they want to show? Because usually they will tell you, like if they want it to be a subtraction or so S is equal to 4n plus 1. D is equal to 3n plus 2. Is there any relationship for figure N? So for N, we know this. I guess they want us to substitute out the N. Let me try and see. So if we substitute out the N, this question, I'm not too sure. This question, I'm not too sure about. Let's see if we substitute out the N. So we say S minus 1 is equal to 4n. N is equal to S minus 1 over 4. And then we substitute it into this. That would be the relationship between the number of sticks and dots. But why they say write an equation in S, D, and N if I'm substituting out the N? I think that's the best bet there. This is the best bet here, the relationship between S and D. For N, S is equal to 4n plus 1, D is equal to 3n plus 2. So if I need to get N, I think there could be a phrasing error here. I'll double check with some of my colleagues. I think there could be a phrasing error. Why they say write an equation in S, D, and N? And N. So anyhow, continuing on. So therefore, D is equal to 3. Let's see. That's not. I'll do this one and then I'll try another thing. So D is equal to 3 by S minus 1 over 4 plus 2. So D is equal to 3/4 of S minus 1 plus 2. So this is a relationship between S and D. This is a relationship between S and D. If you just want to make your little random relationships, you could do a subtraction, you could do a multiplication, show the relationship. So that's what I say. Normally they will tell you what they want to do. Normally they'll use a subtraction or addition. So I could do something like this. I could say S minus D is equal to 4n plus 1 by minus 3n plus 2. Or I can say S plus D and work out something. Or I can say SD is equal to 4n plus 1 by 3n plus 2. I can use a division. I can use anything. So it leaves the question with a bunch of open answers. So there's something a little wrong, a little suspicious with this question. So let me just do 2. I'll do the SD and I'll do the S minus D. So S minus D would be equal to 4n minus 3n is n. 1 minus 2 is -1. So S minus D is that. That's one relationship as well. 4n plus 1. Let me just make sure I label any writing. S is 4n plus 1, and D is 3n plus 2. So S minus D is 4n plus 1 minus this minus 2 minus 3n. Yep. So plus 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So great. And SD, if you want to get SD, is going to be 12n squared plus 8n plus 3n plus 2. So SD is equal to 12n squared plus 11n plus 2. So anything could work. Any operation could work to kind of build a relationship between S and D and N. But this here is vague. This here is vague because I could use addition as well. Some people may have used addition and maybe they get 7n plus 3 or something like that. So I'm not too sure which one they want. Whether they want us to do this. This feels more mathematical. This is what we normally see if we have to show a relationship. And this is what we will see if we have to, this is what normally comes in the question. So normally you tell you the number tables, subtract the number of chairs or whatever it is that you know it. So this is the first weird question. Like there's an issue with the question that I have. I need to check out that. The following diagram shows the graph. Yeah, you can get the S plus, let me just write this here. You can also get S plus D is equal to 4n plus 3 in case anybody has that as well. This is another relationship. So this is one relationship, another relationship, another. Or maybe the person who wrote the question didn't realize that people could come up with any relationship that they want. You could come up with literally 100 different relationships here. And who is going to mark that? How are you going to account for that in the maths? Somebody might get something wrong that's actually correct. The following diagram shows the graph of the function y is equal to x squared plus x minus 2. From the graph, state the roots. Okay, nice. So we get some nice things for this. Some nice things for this. The roots of the function is graphical. We love when you see them graphs. So roots are the x-intercepts. So the roots are x is equal to some negative something and x is equal to something positive, negative 2 and 1. Negative 2 and 1 or minus 2 and 1. Coordinates of the y-intercept. The y-intercept is, there it is, it's negative 2. Watch the scale there, sneaky. The y-intercept is negative 2, so the coordinate will be 0, negative 2. The minimum value of the function, minimum, is going to be in between here. We can clearly see that it should be halfway between. So it's negative 0.5, and we unsure. Use the graph. They said use the graph. They said use the graph. From the graph. Okay, so from the graph. So minimum value of function. They didn't ask the coordinate. So it looks like it's a quarter to me. What does it look like to you? Actually 1/5 of the way. So that means 0.4. So this is 0.4, 0.8, 1.2, 1.6. So you can get 2 now. You understand what I'm saying there? Let me just make sure my camera is on me and my camera not off of me right now. So negative 2.4 is where that is at. It's 4. It's 4. It's not actually 0.2 because it's the distance of 2 units. So negative 2.4 is the answer that you should get there. I shouldn't spend so long explaining each thing. This shouldn't be an explaining video. So the minimum value is negative 2.4. The equation of the axis of the symmetry. Where this line would reside. Clearly that line is on the negative 0.5 mark. So x is equal to negative 0.5. X is equal to negative 0.5. On the same pair of axes, draw and label the line y is equal to, so gradient 2, intercept 4. So we wanted to intercept at 4, right there, and the gradient is 2. So every 1 it goes up 2. So clearly it's going to be this line. Very nice. It's going to be this line. So this line, nobody asked to draw this line, so I'll erase it off. This line intercepts at 4, and the gradient is 2. You can also substitute points to just get this line faster. You could say like when y is 0, 0 is equal to 2x plus 4, and it will boil down that x is equal to -2. Bang, so you'll get another point there. You got this point and you join to make your line. Using your graphs, determine the solution. So simultaneous equations, this is one of the 2 easy questions. Number 7, although the last part in number 7 was a little sus, and number 8, graphical solution for simultaneous equations is usually very easy. You just need to watch the graph and see where they intercept. The solutions to the pair of simultaneous equations. So the solutions are the coordinates when x is equal to -2, y is equal to 0. So when x is equal to -2, y is equal to 0, that's the ordered pair -2 and 0. And when x is equal to what? What is that value there? 3, y is equal to 10. When x is equal to 3, y is equal to 10. So 3, 10. So those are your solutions. Very nice. Very nice. A beautiful question. Exotic. We love it. We love to see it. That's the end. Go on to the next page, or short to next page. So a velocity time graph, a speed time graph. A speed time graph of a car's journey from town R. So I would say maybe an average math student or slightly below average, and now starting to see a way in maths just before the exam. What you would have gotten problems with so far, maybe the measurement question would have been a little challenging because that was a long-winded question. What else you all got problems with so far? The measurement. Anyway, we'll do that analysis afterwards. Some people just want us to continue with the solutions. The following diagram shows a velocity time graph. The car accelerates for 2 minutes, travels at a constant speed, then slows down to a stop. So take a look at the graph there. Yeah, I will post it. I'll post it. I'll keep this video up. Determine the initial acceleration. So acceleration is the gradient on a speed time graph. So that's one way, or you can do the change of velocity over time taken. So either way, you should end up with 30 minus 0. 30 minus 0 over, what is this number here, boy? Why did I make this graph so weird? So this is 60, this is 120. All right, so we're counting in 60s at it. So there's 240 here if we need it. So 120 seconds, meters per second, nothing suspicious looking. Seconds, right? So 30. So the change in y over the change in x for starting period. So at the end of the day, it's 30 divided by, how much it was again? 120? 30 divided by 120. So the speed of the graph is a quarter meters, the acceleration meters per second squared, or 0.25. Calculate the distance between the tongues. So the distance on a speed time graph is the area on the graph. Of course, there's other ways you could work it out using S is equal to UT plus half AT squared and all those kind of weird stuff. But they really want you to find the area underneath this trapezium. They love that. So I told my class, as soon as you see a speed time graph, brace yourself. The last question is going to be the area under the trapezium. So let's get this side. It is 120 to 600. So 120 to 600 is some kind of 480 something. 480. This side, 780 is 840. So this side is 840. So we have 480, 840. Now 480 feeling kind of suspicious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's correct. And the height is 30. 480, 840, and 30. So we have 480, 840, and the vertical height there is 30. So area under the graph is half A plus B by H trapezium. This is your A, this is your B, this is your H. So half of 480 plus 840. Start back. Okay, we starting to cook again. That's just a momentary pause. 480 plus 840 by 30. And put that in your calculator and tell me what pops out. Maybe just multiply 15 by 480 plus 840. What happens there? You get 19800 meters. How many of you all got that? How many of you all got that? So the distance is the area under the graph. Straightforward. Straightforward. We cooking. This question was sweet. This number 8 was very nice. This question was real nice, boy. Let me see how the bearings question come. Number 8 was very good. Very good. I would still rate it as a good testing question. It wasn't too easy on the point that you felt like the student not being tested. Still good. CSEC must make more exams like this. Not them kind of scary things that is we bringing in the past. A ship sails from point A to point B, which is 15 kilometers from what's sort of that number 7 last part, which is 15 kilometers from A. Let's start about to point. Where B? Okay, we need to add in things, insert the bearings. Sneaky. So let's try this again. Ship sails from point A to point B, which is 15 kilometers and a bearing of 42. That look like that, it'll be the 42 there. And this could be B. All right. The ship then sails to point C, which is, by the way, let's put in the 15 kilometers 1 times 2, which is 19 kilometers and a bearing of 130. So this is your 130. I am marked there already, by the way. And 19 kilometers. Cooking. How many of you all start to cook the bearings question already? At least you get 1 mark in the bearings question, because come on. And the calculated distance between tongue A and tongue C. This is C. So immediately we already know what it is we have to do. We already know what time it is. We're going to have to find this angle, and we're going to have to use the cosine rule to find the man holding the stick. How many of you all know what I'm talking about? So cosine rule, when you have 3 sides involved and an angle, you can find either the angle or the side. Now, the first part is to figure out what the angle is. How do we figure out what the angle is? Well, we use cointerior. What is cointerior? The notes. This is 42. So what is this going to be? It's supplementary. So this has to be 138. This angle here is 138. It's supplementary. Called cointerior angles. Supplementary. Cointerior. Cointerior angles are up to 180 degrees. 138, 42, 180. So now we know this is 138 and this is 130. What is this missing angle? The missing angle here is going to be 360 minus the 130 plus the 138. How much is that going to be? So that's like 360 minus what? 268. And we get a nice looking 92 degrees there. And now we can use the cosine rule. How much marks is this? 2 marks. What? That's the first weird question here. Because how are you going to get 2 marks to that? 2 marks for the cosine rule plus extra work? Am I missing something? Well, I guess you can be glad that a hard part that some people wouldn't get out is 2 marks. Like, yo, how you can give 2 marks for that? Is that 3 marks at least? Come on. CSEC, have a little something about yourself, man. A little pride in your work. So, and this was 15, this was 19, and this was 92. That's correct. 15, 19, 92, and we're trying to figure out this. Let's call that A, capital A, B, C. A squared is equal to B squared. B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. That's our cosine rule. A squared is equal to 15 squared plus 19 squared. How much is 19 squared earlier? 2 by 15 by 19. Nobody had a time for that. Cos of 92. 15 squared is 225, but I'm going to put this whole thing in my calculator and tell you what happened, right? So 15 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 by 15 by 19 cos of 92, bang, 605. Okay, fine. So a squared is equal to 605.8927, whatever. So a is equal to the square root of that 605.8927. Square root of answer equals 24.6. 24.6 kilometers. So Barron's question was par for course, except that there should be 3 marks. Other than that, normal style of Barron's question. People who do it, how much will I get? Determine the bearing of A from tongue C. A from C. So you're going to have to look at C and figure out this angle. So that means I would need to know a couple of things. I would need to know this angle. I can already figure out this angle up here. Let's just go ahead and show you. Let me just go ahead and show you. Let's do this whole thing in blue. So see, this is the angle that I want. I already know this angle using the same co-interior approach between these two. So I already know that this angle is going to be 50 degrees. So I'm only missing this angle and I'll be able to run away home free with that. Once I find this angle, I subtract it from 360 and I'm good to go. So how am I going to find this angle? Sine rule. Let me see it again. Miss 2 marks for this again. 3 marks. At least they was fair with this one. So you're going to use the sine rule. And right now we have a situation like this going on. This is 15. This is 19. This is how much? 92. 92. And we just figured out a nice 24.6. How much significant figures they want? Nothing. They didn't say anything about that. 24.6. 2, 3 significant figures. Since they didn't say I'll write that is 3 significant figures. So this is 24.6. And I really want this angle here. So I'm going to use the sine rule. I'm going to call this A, B, B. The sine of A over A is equal to the sine of B over B. So the sine of this missing angle over A over 15 is equal to the sine of 92 over 24.6. So the sine of A is equal to the sine of 92 over 24.6 multiplied by 15. No, that was not 90 degrees. I know some of you all just immediately assume that was 90 degrees. Sine of 92 multiplied by 15 over 24.6. So we have a nice looking 0 point something here. E will be the sine inverse of that 0.60938, whatever it is, 94. Sine inverse of that is, so A is actually 37.54 degrees. That's not the answer, that's just A. That's just A. So now that I know what A is, and I know also how much I got, 37.54. 37.54. Now I know that this is 37.5 basically. And this is 50. I can find the missing angle. So the missing angle, the bearing, is going to be 360 degrees minus the what is it again, 50 plus the 37.5. So 360 minus the 50 plus 37.5 is 272.5 approximately. So the bearing is 272.5 degrees. So one significant figure. That's our bearing C here. Okay, that's enough of that. So traditional bearings question. If you struggle with bearings, you're going to struggle with this question. If you're good with bearings, you'll be good with this question. A traditional bearings question. It's not extra hard, but it's not easy for the average math students. The L, M, and P lie on the circumference of a circle so this is your circle geometry. Look very straightforward, sweet. By the way, how many of you all followed my instructions? Let me take a little vote. How many of you all followed my instructions and the first thing you do is open the paper and check this out to see if you see any quadrilateral or any theorems that you know. Yeah? And I followed the instructions. Very nice, very nice. And I was able to see some stuff, right? You're able to see this is 90. This could be 92. You're able to see that this is an isosceles triangle. I didn't even watch your question yet. But I already see some terms that, you know, important. Let me see, angle pun. We want to find the angle pun them. All right, angle PON. What is that angle? PON looking like, PON is this, PON is that. Now, what can we do? This is 24, this is 90. So can you see we have this long triangle here, where this is 24, this is 90, and we're trying to figure out that angle there. So we should state some things. We should state that OP is a radius, which meets tangent PN at 90 degrees. That's a term. The radius would meet the tangent at 90 degrees. And now we have this triangle, PNO. Angles in triangle add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, PON has to be 180 degrees minus the 90 plus the 24. Which is how much? 66? 66. No, 76. 66. How much? How much is it? 180 minus. My arithmetic is shut down after SE. 66 degrees. 66 degrees. So 66 degrees. Angle PLM. Angle PLM now. This is a circle geometry question on the easier side of circle geometry if you ask me. So angle PLM is up there. I mean, if you want to ask me, you might not want to ask me. So, angle PLM, oh my goodness, how do we work out angle PLM? It looks very suspicious. Well, one of the things you must do is always writing the things that you see, right? So we already work out this is 66, which means, guess who is 66 as well? You is 66. It's an isosceles triangle. No, not you. It's not 66. My bad. The isosceles triangle, I put the dash in the wrong spot. This is the dash. I put the dash in the wrong spot. Two radii. This is a radius and this is a radius. Sorry for frightening anybody who are frightened. I didn't really do anything, so pretty safe. So this is the radius, this is the radius, so it's an isosceles triangle. I know it was an isosceles triangle, I know I see two radius, but somehow my eye like it dead. Alright, so OP equal OM equal a radius. So OPM is isosceles, which I already stated. No, I didn't state it's isosceles yet. So anyhow, to get this missing angle here, and that's what I need to get this missing angle. So OPM, to get angle OPM, is going to be 180 minus the 66 divided by 2. That's because the base angles in isosceles of extra S are equal. So what is that? 180 minus 66 divided by 2, we get 57 degrees. So we just worked out that this angle over here is a beautiful looking 57 degrees. Now if this is 57 degrees, we also know one other thing. We know that the angle in a semicircle is equal to 90 degrees. That means this angle here is 90 degrees in that big triangle PML. So PML, that's how that would look. So the angle subtended from a diameter to the circumference is always 90 degrees if you want to state it that big long way. And if we've just found out that this is 57, we can find that missing PLM, which is what we want. Therefore, PLM is equal to 180 minus the 90 plus 57. 180 minus 90 plus 57. And we get a nice looking 33, or just say 90 minus 57, 33 degrees. PMN now. Last one. They get very close to P and M there, boy. They get very close to the Balize there, boy. PNM, Trinidad people know I'm talking about that political party. PMN, that's you. Hey, how we finding PMN? Well, if this is 57, you gotta be 57 too. An angle on a straight line. OMP is also 57. So OMP is also equal to 57 degrees from the isosceles triangle that we already mentioned above. Therefore, PMN is equal to 180 minus 57 angles on a straight line. On a straight line, somebody say UNC on top. On a straight line is equal to, add up to 180 degrees, right? I just writing this to be complete. 180 minus 67, 123 degrees, cooking with Ramco gas. So this whole question wasn't particularly easy. It is a tough topic, but if you knew how to do the topic and you prepared for it, there was nothing to like throw you off with any like special curveballs or anything like that. Last question. We are down to the last question. It's 1 hour and 41 minutes, and I took a lot of time talking in between. In the diagram below OPQL, OPQL is a parallelogram. I can see that. OP is R, OL is S. They're always being more and more clever with this boy. So next year, what they're going to do, they're going to draw a tornado for them students. Somebody else is passing around a photo with 3 circles and 1 flat lines on TikTok. The point M divides, oh, they have a ratio, so 2 to 1. The point M divides PL in the ratio 2 to 1, so that means there's 2 spots here to this one. T is the point such that PQ, so this is in midway. Right, so I internalize everything here, no new friends. Find in terms of R and S, PL. So key to vectors is finding another way. PL would be the same as P to O, and then go from O to L. So P to O is R. Sorry, it's negative R because it's backwards. And then O to L is S. So this can be written as S minus R or minus R plus S. Anyone is correct? Then OM. So let's do OM right here one time. OM is this. So OM, we should establish that ML, let's just establish that ML is 1/3 of the way for PL, but it's negative, right? So it's negative 1/3 of PL. You all understand what I'm saying? If I split PL into 3, ML is that. I don't want to write ML, I want to write LM, sorry, because I'm going backwards. So LM is negative 1/3 of that. The reason I did that is because I want to say OM is the same as O to L, then L to M. But LM is negative 1/3 of PL. So LM is negative 1/3 of the S minus R, which is negative S over 3 minus. I'm not even going into all of that. I'll put it in the next part of the question. So usually in vectors, this is where students have to fall off when it have all these negative signs and fractions. So OL is S plus, and I want this negative 1/3 S minus 3, minus R. So this will simplify, just to speed it up. S minus 1/3 S is actually 2/3 S. And this minus and minus will interact and become positive. And I will end up with plus 1/3 R. Or I could write this as 1/3 of 2S plus R, which I feel might happen with this T here. So that's why I put it in the future, in here to look out for something in the future. Okay, and let's keep moving. So that's what's happening there. So I got 1/3 of 2S plus R. 1/3 of 2S plus R, or 2/3 S plus 1/3 R. But look out for this in the future. Prove that OM and T, look at the future right there. Apolinear, mean line and the same line. So I need to find MT. I need to get MT because I want to show OM and T are collinear, meaning line the same line. So I need to find MT, folks. So let's go get MT and then we'll sort it out. MT, there's a lot to show here. MT is going to be equal to, off the treadmill for a second. MT is going to be equal to what I want to say. I can do the, this is PL, I can do the 1/3 PL MT is 1/3 of PL, which is the same as like M to L, and then LQ, key to vectors is finding another way. So I'll add L to Q, it's basically, and then I'll do Q to T. So let's go up and see what's happening there again. So I went from M to L, which is 1/3 PL, so that's why I wrote it like that one time. Then I'll go from L to Q, which is just R, and Q to T, which is just S. Oh, I know it's S because that's S right there. And this is 2 of it. So this is SS. So RS. So 1/3 of S minus R. That's what I have. 1/3 of S minus R plus S. So now this will boil down to 1/3 of S minus 1/3 of R plus S. So 1/3 of S plus S is 4/3 of S minus 1/3 of R plus R, like I lost in my energy, but 2/3 R. So now I'm seeing that I can pull out 2/3 and I can still get the same 2S plus R here again. So they're related by a common scalar factor, and that's what was important. So OM is equal, 2OM is equal to MT. How do I know that? Because this is 1/3 of 2SR, this is 2/3 of 2SR. Therefore, they are parallel. Scalar factor is 2. And since they share the common point, what's the common point that they share? Common point is, of course, M. We've seen M in both of them, OM and MT. Since they share the common point M, they lie on the same line. Therefore, OMT are linear. And we move on to the next one. Let's go. The 3 major C's, A, B, and C, are such that A, B, and C. Find the matrix A, B plus C. What? They make a multiplier 2 by 2 by a 2 by 3. How was that for you, boy? God, I see. It was been good so far. What the hell is this? Okay, fine. Let's go. So we have A. This was food for you, 3, 5. Let's do it one time. AB plus C. So A, 3, 5, 2, 4 by A, 4, 0, 3, -1, 2, 7. So let's do the AB part first, and we'll add the C afterwards. This is equal to, and it's a 2 by 2 by a 2 by 3. These two numbers are the same, and the result is going to look like a 2 by 3. How much marks they gave for this, right? 3 marks. At least there was a little fair. 3 by 4 is 12. 2 by 3 is 6. 3 by 0 is 0. 2 by -1 is -2. Imagine if you make one mistake in this. 3 by 2 is 6. 2 by 1 is 14. 2 by 7 is 14. 3 by 2 is 6. And we go on again. 5 by 4 is 20. 4 by 3 is 12. 0 plus -4 and then 10 plus 28. So that's what I have so far. This boils down to 18, 32, -2, -4, 20, and 38. So therefore, AB plus C will have 18, 32, -2, -4, 20, plus 38. I hope I make no mistakes here. Plus 4, -1, 7, 3, 2, -5. Let's add these up. 18 and 4 is 22. 32 and 7, 39. -3, -1, 22, 33. And that's your answer. 22, 39, -3, -1, 22, 33. You all got that? Didn't turn out so bad after all. You just take your time with it. Row by column. Find A inverse, the inverse of A. Very straightforward stuff. 3, 4, 5, 2. 3, 4, 5, 2. So it's in the form A, B, C, D. So the determinant of A is AD minus BC, which is 3 by 4 minus 2 by 5, 12 minus 10, so the determinant is 2. Was that the correct numbers? 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3 by 4. And the adjoint of A is DA minus B minus C. So we'll do a little swappy swaps here, 4 and 3, switch the signs there. And therefore, A inverse is 1 over the determinant by the adjoint, which will be half of the 4, -5, -2, 3, which boils down to half of 4 is 2, half of -5 is -5 and 2, half of -2 is -1, and then you have 3 over 2. So that's your inverse. Another 2 sweet marks there. Go on to the next page. Write down the 2 by 2 matrix that represents this. That's the identity matrix. So 1, 0, 0, 1. When you multiply a matrix by its inverse, you get the identity matrix. A free 1 mark to finish off. And that brings us to the end of this paper. So let's do a quick analysis and see some of the topics. Some of you all came in a little late. We'll just do a quick 1-minute analysis here. Question 1, very straightforward, meta stuff. Consumer arithmetic came with and some ratio ideas came inside there. Some compound interest ideas came inside there as well as just general fraction work. Not too bad at all, not too bad. Factorize completely each of the following. So what we had here, normal factorization, basic AC method with the quadratic, normal solve for n. This was some indices work here, so you need to know your way around indices. Trapezium, geometry. Oh no, this is combining geometry and algebra, which you're doing a lot now, but it wasn't that bad. Straightforward stuff. Construction, which didn't show up in a while, and here we have it. Bang. Some different arrangements can come in this depending on what you have as your base. I guess that's why they don't like to show it up. They don't like to do construction because it takes some time to correct, because you have one set of different things that these students can do. So probably slow them down. Here we have transformation, which is staple. So if you're watching this in future and you have to do exams, you're going to get transformation. It's happening every single year now. It's almost like circle terms. It is like a must come. Sure thing. And then we followed off with some so that's the transformation question. We followed off with some very basic coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry, very staple. I want them to keep it so don't bring ADMAT style of coordinate geometry in this. Solid functions. If you study a function, there's nothing spectacular in the functions. It's not even the hard version to the functions. Simple stuff. The statistics wasn't that bad at all. The statistics was on the easier side of things. Straightforward. That's super easy, but not nothing out of the ordinary, except this little piece here, which is where we see that they're going extra in probability. It's not hard, but teachers have to remember to teach this little extra part. They're going in probability. This question was probably most time wasting question. Students, which question you're spending most amount of time on? This question, you had to take your time and do this. Although they gave you lots of, they gave you one extra piece of information, so you could have found the answers for this a few different ways. Not too bad at the end. This number 7 was sweet cake and ice cream. Number 7 was sweet. The drawing was really nice. You should see some of the things they had to draw for 2 marks in the past. Number 7 was going really good until they reached this spot, which is the only, like, if I have to say there's an error in the paper, I wouldn't go so much as to say an error, because it's not like an error, it's just maybe not an appropriately written question, because it's so open-ended. Write an equation, any, they should put any equation in, right? An equation that relates SD and N. Technically, this relates SD and N as well, even though N is not involved in it. Technically, I could argue that. And then there's many different relationships that you could strike off with SD and N if you say S minus D and then you substitute. Or S plus D or S by D or S divided by D, whatever the student wants to do. The following diagram shows, this was really nice. This was really nice. Really nice. Love that question. Love this for you. Roots. You had to know about it though. If you didn't know about what roots mean and minimum value and stuff like that mean, no. Axis of symmetry, problems. Simultaneous equation, graphical method, we always love to see this. Once you know how to do it, it puts a smile on your face. Velocity time graph, that's the big brother for the motion graphs. And it wasn't that bad at all. You staple things for acceleration and distance. They always ask distance. Then number 9 was the usual bearings followed by circle geometry. Bearings was not bad at all. The bearings came pretty straightforward. Now, saying not bad at all, bearings, this probably is the hardest question on the paper for most people, but it's not out of the ordinary hard. So that's the bearings there, and then we have the circle geometry, which is slightly easier than the normal circle geometries we see, although they have been bringing these kind of, in the last like 3-4 exams, these kind of quick step circle geometry questions. Make sure you put your reason as well as the answer. Then of course we finished off with your matrices and vectors. They decided to give you the vectors first. The vectors felt like it was doing some extra stuff because it looked like that in the beginning, but then it turned out to be not bad at all. Once you know your way around fractions, good to go. You sort out your S and your R's. And the matrices started off a little scary by having us multiply a 2 by 2 by a 2 by 3, one of the worst possible scenarios. But you follow your rules, row by column, and you're good to go. Find A inverse, staple, determinant, adjoint, A inverse, and then they just give you a, do you know the answer to this question? Every single thing on this paper was done in the student hub, in my class, multiple times. So I'm hoping that some of our students will be able to get total marks. We'll see how it goes. Those of you who signing up for classes in the student hub, it starts in July. Registration opens in like a couple weeks. This is the number that you use. If you're watching this in the future, you can just go ahead and WhatsApp the number. If not, well, there's a couple 12-hour crash courses that will go on for different subjects. I still have to do a 12-hour for physics. And for maths, I already did the one for maths, obviously. All right, people, love and blessings. All you can see how much marks all you get there. Enjoy the rest of the exam season.